Ben Franklin said the government that they created for us was meant for a virtuous people and no other. If we aren't the kind of people that they were, we won't be able to maintain the government that they created for us.
You point out in the book how a large swath of today's young people can't even say definitively that capitalism is a better economic system than socialism.
Right. Well, Rasmussen a year ago did a poll in which he found that young adults under age 30, about 36% believe capitalism is the best system, but 33% think socialism is, and about 30% don't know. So you have like 2/3 of young adults who've been through our education system and are full grown who don't know that capitalism is the best system for a free and prosperous society. So that really tells you one huge failing of our education system, that we're not teaching our kids economics, we're not teaching them about our government. You walk up to any 7th grader in this country and you say, what kind of government do we have? They will say, proudly, we have a democracy. And you go, well, yeah, I mean, we have democratic values and we have a democratically elected constitutional republic. And they will look at you like a deer in the headlights. They have no idea what we are or how hard it was fought for, and that it was the greatest invention, creative solution for a government of all time. And in fact, what our kids are being taught in school now is that the United States is kind of the villain of world history. We're the overtakers, we're too big for our britches, this kind of stuff. And that's what kids are being taught, whether it's history or science class or wherever, in whatever range they're learning.
Oh, is that because of multicultural education, where it's meant to purge American history from the classroom and celebrate all these other cultures in the name of diversity?
Yeah,
and
in California now, just this summer, Governor Jerry Brown signed into law a new statute in California which is requiring California teachers to incorporate into their history curriculum the idea that they have to incorporate gay and lesbian, bisexual and transgendered history into their history classes. So you have to look for people in history who are those things and then teach history based on the fact that they were, these episodes or these events occurred and involved gay Americans. And which means we're literally going to rewrite history books for this nation, because California is the largest purchaser of textbooks in the country. And so of course textbook makers are going to make their books suitable for California, and then the rest of the country will follow.
Yeah, New York City in fact gets their public school textbooks from California.
Everybody does, that's it.
Point duly noted. Now, we've heard a while the culture wars are going on, and we know that education is just, it's just one big mess pile. And unless parents are actively engaged in their children's education, they can, children can come out pretty messed up. But where do you see, when you diagnose the problem, now what's the solution to really regaining America and regaining the culture? Because that's the most important.
Right. Yeah, as the culture goes, so goes the nation. And that's one of the things I think that people who are politically engaged kind of get a little bit backwards. We really, the culture is what shapes the government, shapes the politics, and we have to really be more focused on that. That's really the calling of this book. I mean, the whole thing is pretty shocking when you put it all together. Got an email about halfway through the summer from my editor who said, you are writing a very scary book. And it is. It's very startling to realize that, so few kids know very much about who we are and where we came from and what our country could be and should be. But the solution really is to focus then on the character of our children's generation. So we have to really be thinking about their virtue, thinking about their character. Ben Franklin said the government that they created for us was meant for a virtuous people and no other. If we aren't the kind of people that they were, we won't be able to maintain the government that they created for us. And that is the premise, that I went with in this book, is that I'm looking at this next generation of, my children's peers and saying, this doesn't look good for our future. We're raising taxpayers at our house, but I fear that they will inherit a debt they'll never be able to repay, and the burden of fellow citizens who expect the government to take care of them for the rest of their lives. I mean, you see it in so many ways already that this current administration is creating dependency in our young people, such that they believe the government is supposed to solve their problems. 69% of young people, teenagers, believe the federal government of the United States should work to solve and has a significant role to play in solving childhood obesity. Now, I don't know if they're going to just walk around and take candy bars out of people's hands or what. It's like
red Kool-Aid.
Yeah, the Kool-Aid police. But unfortunately, that is an example of Kool-Aid. They believe the federal government has an appropriate role in their daily lives. And so they will never be able to be as free or as prosperous as we have been in the past.